you came, can you describe to me then in March, your day in March? How did you get to Prekaz? How did you hear about Prekaz? Had you ever heard about Prekaz before?
No. What happened, it was on the morning of the 5th of March, because I went twice. I went on the 5th and the 6th. And most of the pictures you see, the ones that have been broadcast, come from the 6th of March. I went out there because I'd heard there was stuff in somewhere called Drenica. And so I hired a car and went off up there, and I was struggling because I couldn't find anybody who was speaking English at the time, because we met soon after, and that's when we worked. From then on, we worked very largely together with some other fantastic fixers. So I went up there on the 5th and tried to get to where I wanted to do, and I saw the Serbian forces, but I didn't get to Prekaz itself. I probably got about half a kilometre, and nobody knew I didn't know the word Prekaz. I didn't know where it was happening. I didn't know what was happening, but it was clearly a sort of military/police operation going on of some extent in the Drenica region, but I didn't see any guerrillas, any KLA or anything like that at that stage. I then got back. We got some pictures, and then the next day we went out on the 6th. And this time I followed the smoke, and ended up walking. And I found a guide who didn't speak English, so it was quite difficult because my Albanian still isn't as good as perhaps it could be. But we went all the way, and I got to very close to Prekaz, actually, very close to the hamlet. And I got up a hill to the forward slope, and I had to crawl for about 100 yards I had a large camera at that time, with a large camera, and crawled over the hill. And then I saw the attack going on, lots of houses on fire, and there was a very particular image that I remember of vehicles who were almost bulldozing a house. So this was probably the latter part of the operation.
Vehicles?
Yes, no, that vehicle, yes, and that vehicle, which is actually bulldozing a house. Now, the interesting thing about those vehicles is it turns out, I got them looked at by a specialist who said that they are Dutch vehicles. Those were the vehicles that the Serbs took from the Dutch army who, at the Srebrenica incident in Bosnia, where 8,000 people were killed, where the Dutch army withdrew and they left their vehicles behind, and the Serbs took those vehicles and they used them, interestingly, in the Prekaz operation.